I want to start by talking about a couple things and answer a couple questions we had in the past few days. So one question that was asked about the action panel order. So let me go back to my application. I want to say this was asked on even the first day, but when I do my display array and I execute my display array, we discovered that our actions here were listed in the order of the OnAction Clause by default, with the exception of the OK and the Cancel button, which were located up top. So OK and Cancel, you didn't have the Accept and Cancel, you didn't have any control over. The others you had some control over, and that control came in terms of how you defined your on clauses. So the append, insert, delete, and update, the fact that they were ordered here, that determined our action. And I got confirmation from the developers that indeed that's how it happens right now. The order does depend on the order of the on-action clauses except for the accept and cancel. I wanted to let you know that there is already a feature request that has been put in where people want to be able to implement order via other methods as well. So there is a feature request to allow you all to eventually be able to maybe group actions in such a way inside of this default panel or influence the order of those actions outside of the way you list your on clauses. As for now, however, the way you can influence your only control is the order that you list your on clauses inside of your dialog. The next question was one that had been sent to me offline about setting images for the application in your tab inside of a GWC application. And this is to just let you all know. So there is a code out there, the UI.interface.setImage. I think we're going to talk about that this morning, that you can use to change the icon that appears for your application. It works in GDC. It does not take effect in GWC for the HTML5 template. So if you're looking at my screen right now, and when we showed the example before, when we switched from desktop to the HTML5 version of GWC, that means that we're running using a template set that have been defined for HTML5. It's the default template set. And right now that does not take into account this set image method. So I'll send that to, I forget who actually asked me that. I'll send that to you, the result, in an email as well, but I wanted to let you all know, if you're working with the web client, if you're working with the HTML5 template set, the set image on the UI.interface does not work for you. And the last thing I wanted to talk about that we did some work on yesterday was dealing with the styles. And one of the questions that was asked, and I'm bringing up my 4ST right now, is what happens when I have a group of styles where they all can apply? And I've highlighted what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to click off it so it's easier to read. But so if, for an example, I have a label, I have a style, and then I have the label.style. The question was, is it cumulative? If I have a label out there with the style of A, am I going to get the style attributes that are defined across? Is it going to be cumulative? And the answer to that was yes. So if I'm looking at here, what do I expect to happen? Well, I created a form. Let me see my form. I have two labels. One doesn't have a style A applied, and the other does have a style A applied. So when I go and look at my my styles, if it doesn't have the style applied, I expect it to have an italic font, and I expect it to have a color, and this color is whatever is not green. I think it's blue. Then if I have the style A applied, well, this one I expect it's going to pick up the larger font size. I have the style A applied. It's going to change the background color. It's going to keep the italics. So I know that it's going to end up combining all three of these because all three of these things still apply. And the only thing it's going to override is this style is going to end up overriding what this label does. So I went and I built this little test. You can execute the test, and let me find my I switched it to web. Okay, so it even worked within the web, so that's good. So you can see that the one with the style A, it ended up turning it to green. That was the .style file. It ended up making the font large. That was the label.style. But it kept the italic, and that was what's defined just generic for label. So it is indeed cumulative for your styles. It will do the cumulative, and it just overrides it when it finds something more precise for the same definition. So in my test, I had background color defined twice, and so it said, okay, if it was just a label, I was going to do it in blue, but then you said if it's a style A, I want to replace it with green. So that style then took the precedence over that label. Oh, can't see your web browser. Okay, hold on one second. Let me switch it back to the desktop. I'm going to execute that application again. Boom. Yeah, so there's the application showing out there where you can see that my the one with the style, the font was made larger, the background color was green, but it kept that italic that it inherited just from the fact that it's a label alone. Let me. Okay, and I'm sorry, Mark, so you asked me a question about a workaround for the image in HTML5. They did send me a workaround. It's a bunch of code to change a template, so I'll send that to you in an email. Okay, those are the answers that we had from yesterday.